Hi, I'm Jessie Morris. I'm the volunteer coordinator at BookSpring, and today we're going to show you how to sort through our books. So, the first thing to know is that there are three categories: green books, red books, and blue books. First, we're going to go over green books, which are books that are in perfect condition. They look like they just came out of Barnes & Noble. They don't have any food grime, they don't have any extra stickers from other publishers, they don't have any price tagging on them or nameplates or dedications. This is an example of a green book. It is in perfect condition. It doesn't have any writing on the inside. The spine is intact. And this is our sticker, so we know that it is a proper book. Another thing to consider is that there are only three categories in the green book section. You have board books, picture books, and chapter books. If a book seems like it's going to be over the fifth grade reading level, then you're going to bump it up to YA instead, which is not in the green category. Green books can also not contain certain contents such as Christmas books, activity, teaching, or religion. Those are all ones that are going to be saved for our red section. They're a bit too specific to be put into the green book section, which are for our paid partners. Next, we have red books. So these can be any category of book: board, picture, chapter, activity, YA, adult, etc. We have a whole list of them. Red books can have a little bit of damage to them, just not to the extent where they are detrimental to the quality of the book. So you can have a dedication or a nameplate on the inside, but it cannot be a large paragraph. It can't be scribbles. Here are some examples of red books. We have this board book. It has a little bit of damage on the spine. It's a bit worn down in the edges here, but it's still in pretty good readable condition, so we're going to keep it. Here we have a sticker book. We can keep this in the red category because it is an activity book. You want to make sure that it does have all the stickers in it though, because if it doesn't, you don't want to hand it out. And here's another example. It has a name at the top. That's okay. It's got a little Goodwill sticker on it as well, but overall it is in very good condition. It's readable. It has a small bend to it, but it's in fine condition for our free partners. Lastly, we have blue books. These are books that we unfortunately cannot keep or distribute due to some nature of their quality. This might be that the book is too old, it might be that there's missing content to it, or it's just in very bad condition. Here's some examples. So we have this old Nancy Drew. It's in perfect condition, but unfortunately, this is a bit too old for our students who are currently receiving our distributions to enjoy. They're not going to want to read something that looks like it was written in the 50s. They want something that's more contemporary. So we will be giving this away to Goodwill. Another example is if the book is too small, too short, not long enough. It needs to be at least 16 pages. This one is only 8. I'm going to discard it as well. This is an example of a blue book that has an outdated history. We know that this probably did not happen at the Thanksgiving, so we're going to give it away. We don't want to give out content of books that we deem uncomfortable or offensive in any way. And here's an example of a library book. It's a great condition book, but it has this huge, thick jacket on it that we don't want to keep. It makes us look like we steal from libraries, which we don't. So these are blue books that, for some reason, we have decided to not keep in our inventory. They're automatic blue bin discards. So if you come across Peter Pan, he does say some racially insensitive remarks in the books. Some of these ones are just a bit old. There's drinking involved with this one. Books with black and white images mainly just mean for picture books. If it's a chapter book and it has some black and white drawings, that's okay. Secret Garden, Little Princess, I think those are as well a bit old. Outdated biographies, such as the Pilgrim one that I brought up earlier. We don't want to promote that kind of information, so we just take them out of the equation. Next, we have Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe series. These are just dense books that if you don't have them all in sequence, they get a bit confusing. And then we have the 4 Dr. Seuss texts that have been recalled in the past couple of years due to their insensitive nature. So we have If I Ran the Zoo, To Think on Mulberry Street, McGilligot's Pool, and Cat's Quizzer. You probably will not run across most or any of these, except for maybe If I Ran the Zoo. So you don't have to worry as much about this category right here. And then, of course, Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn. On this side, we have just blue bin quality text. So these are things that are going to make something a blue bin item without the book being on this list. So first we have missing content. It has to have all of the stickers present on the sticker pages. If even one is missing, we need to put it in the blue bin. 3D glasses, CDs, anything that's going to make reading the book a bit more difficult. So next we have food grime. That's always a no. We just don't want to have unsanitary products given out. Library books, as we've shown before, they're plastic, they're bulky. Excess damage. So this is going to be too much damage to the spine, especially. Too many pages are torn or ripped or changed in some kind of way that we don't like. Scribbles and annotations. So scribbles is going to be more in the picture book section. If a kid has maybe gone in there and drawn in that first page, we don't want to give that to another kid. Annotations is more for chapter books. So if you could see them writing the lines and the margins, we don't want to give that away either. Bite marks. This one is really popular in board books, so give it a little glare to the light, and you might be able to see if there are any of those semicircles with punctures. Next, we have too small or under 16 pages. A book should be at least 16 pages just to keep our standards the same. If one kid in the class receives a book that has 30 pages and the next kid only gets an 8-page book, that's not exactly equitable. Next, we have magazines. These are just not of interest to the readers that we have currently, and they're oftentimes written at higher levels. And last, we have books that are older than 30 years. So remember that this category is also important because we're still going to include very popular texts, such as Corduroy or Magic School Bus. Those might be right on the line of 30 years, but those are still very interesting quality. But if you don't know, you can always just put a sticky note on the front of the book, and you'll be able to kind of communicate with us, hey, I didn't know how to sort this book, and we'll just go ahead and do that for you. It's always better to give a kid a better book than it is to keep a worse book and give it out as a distribution that way. So just make sure you're keeping your standards high when you're sorting and following all the rules with